If the one you loved and respected the most sent you a private message, how would you treat that message? If it were a video message from a righteous scholar, a text message from a just ruler, a phone call from someone who is well known in the world, maybe for some people a gift from a God-fearing sports player, would you disregard it or would you value it? In all likelihood, I think we would agree that message would be read, it would be pondered upon, it would be cherished. For example, and this is very common, I have a friend who received a message from a famous scholar, and he was so excited. He downloaded that video message to his device, and then he backed it up on 2 other devices, and he told his family about it. And every time he'd meet someone, he'd mention that he got this message from the scholar. Why? Because the individual who sent the message is someone valued to him and loved and respected. Now, this is a very clumsy, minor analogy, and while it is important, it's nothing compared to the reality of the Quran, that you're receiving something from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Musa alayhi salam loved talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked him, what are you holding in your hand? The answer really is just a staff. But what does Musa alayhi salam do? He goes on to describe that it is a staff, and I lean on it, and I get leaves from branches for my sheep, and I have other uses for it too. What's he doing here? Musa alayhi salam is sharing because he loves to be talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you read the Quran, you are being spoken to by Allah as well. The Quran is not just a short letter or a short message or a video message like the example that I gave earlier. Rather, it's a message from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a comprehensive one that changes your entire life and gives you the guidance about why you exist and what you should be doing and what's to come when you die. Al-Hasan al-Basri rahimahullah, he said to the people in his times, the people before you, the Sahaba, they considered the Quran to be correspondence from their Lord, so they would ponder it at night and act upon it by day. Now, he's talking about the companions, and I want us to think about what he's saying here. If this statement was for the generation of the earliest Muslims in the 2nd century, what about us in our times? The companions understood that the Quran was from Allah, and it was meant to be pondered and reflected on, acted upon. And they witnessed its revelation over the course of 23 lunar years in different times and different places. And Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah, he talks about, in Al-Fawaid, he talks about the one who is addressing you in the Quran, the one who's talking to you. And I want you to really pay attention and envision these words. He says, reflect on the address of the Quran, you will find a king for which or whom is all ownership and praise. The reins of all matters are in his hands, and their source is from him, and they return to him. Established upon the bed of his dominion, not a single hidden thing can hide from him in the corners of his kingdom. He is completely knowledgeable of what rests inside the souls of his servants, observing their every private and public affair. All alone, he manages his kingdom. He hears and sees, gives and withholds, rewards and punishes. He honors and humiliates, creates and provides, takes life and gives it. He portions and he plans. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking to you. Ikramah bin Abu Jahl radiallahu anhu, he used to hold the Mus'haf with incredible love, and he would sometimes even kiss it and say, Kalamu Rabbi, the speech of my Lord, the speech of my Lord. And there was a Christian woman who once said, if I knew that I had a letter from God, I would read it every single day. And we don't just believe that we have a letter from God, we believe we have 114 letters, all revealed for you. Sometimes we read the Quran while forgetting who the speaker is on the other end. Or we recite it very quickly on the tongue, but our hearts are disconnected from the speaker. And even with short passages, don't reflect on how short they are, but remember the majesty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Recite while remembering the King of Kings is watching you and hearing you recite his speech. What can we do in terms of practical action items? Right now, pay attention. How is your attention when you read the Quran? Is it a lot? Is it a little? Or is it somewhere in the middle? Comments below with where you are right now, inshallah ta'ala, and let's see if you're able to inspire others, and also more importantly, if you're able to get better by the end of this month and inshallah ta'ala throughout the year consistently.